when you play such a bombastic character, they start thinking you're the character.
Oh, I have been hugged up, grabbed. Girl, you might, I'm like, don't hit me. You might get hit back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
We were talking about Empire a minute ago. Obviously, it's such a huge smash and success. I've read something that you said about its international success, which you seem to be surprised about. Is that the best way to characterize it, that it did so well internationally? Or were other people surprised that it did?
Well, the studio was, and the network. Mm-hmm. Well, because I was told, and I believed this shit that they told me, that Black, doesn't do well overseas. Black content, movies, television, don't really do well overseas. So just focus on domestic because it's really hard to sell. And then I believed it was, well, maybe that's why Black, but then I was like, then social media came about and I signed on to Twitter. And I'm starting to get all these tweets from all over the world. We love you in Brazil. We love you in Nigeria. We love you over here. And then sometimes I would get a language that I couldn't even translate. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, somebody lied. Because people really, I got fan pages in Brazil. I have fan pages, all these different, Greece I've gotten, Ibiza. I'm like, somebody's lying. So then Empire hits. I knew we were going to be domestically, I knew we had it, and because it was nothing like it on television. When I started seeing, and what happened was that overseas fans started streaming it illegally. That's when the studio and everyone was like, oh, hey, we got some money. Hey, what? So then I was like pushing them I was like, send me around, send me over there. We got to go over there and talk to the people. Because remember, they don't know me over there and they don't know anything about me over there and they don't really pay attention to anything I do over there. Remember, that's what I was told. So I get over there and we're at a screening, 1,500 seats, standing room only. And they thought Lee was there alone. They got to the cookie questions and Lee said, well, I don't know. Why don't you ask her? She's here. Before he could get my entire name out, the entire room stood up and this is a French speaking audience. When I tell you, I got on that stage and did the ugliest face cry. I couldn't even pull it together. I really couldn't, because the love was like, we've been waiting for you. Then I'm great, get emotional. Then I go outside of the venue. Every walk of life, these are French citizens. We can't even communicate because they're speaking French to me, but they have they have jackets of my movies. They had not easily broken. I said, then I go to Japan. Go to Japan. I mean, we see Cookie and Lucius with the Russian hat on in a Russian publication. We went to Japan. They lost their shit. They lost it in Japan. And I'm like, so tell me again why my movies don't do well overseas. Is it because you're not promoting them and doing your job? Is that what it is? Because that's what you have to do. You have to promote it. You have to make noise like you do here in the States. Same formula over there. Every big movie that I've ever been in has never taken me overseas. I never thought that I would ever get to overseas. And who thought television would take me? That's something movie stars do.
Now, Taraji, you were already pretty known before Empire came out, but how did the success of the show sort of change how you were, recognized? I mean, I joked about how people, I'm sure, still call you Yvette, but once you became, Cookie, an iconic television character, how did that change? Just how people perceived you, your level of fame, and just walking around.
That's when my life that was pretty much kind of normal before. Like I could go to stores unrecognizable, Cookie made me very popular. Cookie made me like a pop star. And and I'm a very private person. Like I really like going to buy my own produce. I like picking out my own Christmas trees. I like shopping. I like taking myself on lunches by myself. I love shopping by myself. Those are the things I can't really do anymore without being, no, even with the mask. It's crazy. I was masked all the way up. This woman said to me, she leaned over, she said, "Your eyebrows are famous."
But she's right though. She is 100% right. I know those brows anywhere.
Good God Almighty! I was like, dang, now I have to wear. But I have even been in places, and this is not even Black people recognizing me. I was literally the kid on South Park that wears that coat, the hood like this. That's how I'm in the airport. This girl walked past me, looked in that little hole, and said, "That's Taraji P. Henson." And I think she was like Filipino. But that's the thing. If they are fans, they know your profile. They know your voice. So a lot of times I'll go out in public, I don't talk. And I'm a people person. Like, I can't help it. I remember one time I was on a plane. This is when we had to start hiring security to travel with me. So I'm on the plane and I can't help myself. I'm a Southern girl at heart. This man needed to put something up in the bin and my shit was in the way. So I was like, "Oh, you can move it." And then he looked at me and I was like, and he reached over and backhanded me and was like, "Cookie." I said, "Ow, ow. You can't hit me, sir. That hurts." Right? So after that, I was like, because see, I'm a pop off. And if he had caught me, I could have been carted off the plane for whooping his ass. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. That's why I need security, because I'm in therapy and I'm dealing with all of this rage that I have. It's real, but I deal with it. That's why I'm in therapy. But so that's why a lot of times celebrities, it's not about a lot of times security protecting us from people. Sometimes it's security protecting us from y'all. Because they forget we human. You understand what I mean by that?
I do. And especially when you play such a bombastic character, they start thinking you're the character.
Oh, I have been hugged up, grabbed. Girl, I'm like, don't hit me. You might get hit back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I know I have that kind of effect on people because of the characters that I portray. Yvette, Roundaway Girl, yeah, it's time to put on some prosthetics and play some other kind of characters.
Your problem is that you're too good. That's the problem, is that you sell the role too well to the point where we're like, oh, okay. So that people.
I know, because at the acrimony, I had been called all kinds of crazy. It was like, you do realize I'm just acting, right?
Like I said, it's too well. I know the way, because of everything we're going through now in the country, the way that Empire ended was kind of made it probably more awkward to some degree. But how did you, now that you've had some time to reflect and think about it, how did you feel about the show ending? And I realize there's a new beginning kind of on the way with your first look deal, but just about that part of that chapter kind of closing.
It was sad. I mean, I was very depressed when that pandemic happened, because we were torn whether to finish, but then there was a stage right up the block from us. It was all in the news that a couple of people had tested COVID positive. And, we use extras, and we had like big performances where we had to use like 200 extras, and we just didn't feel safe. And, we used the same extras, in those different stages. So we shut it down, and I stayed in Chicago because I was like, okay, let's just wait. But then the wait got so long, and they were like, we just have to wrap up the show. It was sad because, that's a legacy. We created something really iconic, and we did become a family. And the fact that we didn't get our due, we didn't get to end it the way we didn't give that family the proper ending. We did the best we could, but we didn't give that legacy the proper ending. I didn't get to say goodbye to my castmates and crew that we had become family. That's 6 years of being with these people, spending most of your life and hours on set with these people. You become family. And it was just sad. I slipped into a little depression when I first got back to LA, because it was so abrupt and just weird. And I just felt like, dang, why couldn't we just finish on a good note? It was hard.